probably an American, I don't know if it's a tier 4, 5, or 6 light tank or tank destroyer. It's a light tank. The map is Sand River. So I'm going to spot 33 tanks in this game. And I'm going to do 2,100 spotting damage. I'm going to get 10 kills. And I'm going to do 7,200 damage. So the first vehicle was taken out of the game. I finally got spotted. I do love playing this tank. It has fast mobility. You can see the auto aim works out really well. I do have, they are 5 players per team. A lot of the enemy tanks are in the south. However, we do want to get rid of this guy over here in the north before we leave the flank. I am constantly moving. I do have to focus a lot on driving. Okay, so now it's time to head to the south. Basically, what's going to happen is once we finish off this wave, there's going to be another wave that's going to come. They're all going to be different tanks. These are obviously are Panzer 38Ts. It looks like I did set one of them on fire. And you do get to respawn. This is absolutely one of my favorite game modes. I do love Frontline. However, this is also a lot of fun. I don't know how that happened. Oh, maybe I was dropping artillery. There's the plane going in. And it didn't report any artillery damage. So I'm guessing that I missed. So there's a flag over here. I believe that what the flag does is it resupplies the ammunition for the team. This is the spotting bush that I use on this map. So we've got an issue where we've got Panzer 3Ks and Tiger 1s. These are well-armored tanks, so I might not be able to penetrate them. You see how it's got that red circle. I am holding my fire. I'm not sure the reason why I'm holding my fire. It's probably because I know that I can't penetrate it. I'm letting my allies do spotting damage. When I first played the game, now that he's showing me the side armor, I am taking shots at him. When I first played the game, I tried to do a lot of spotting for the team. However, it wasn't very effective. And then when I started doing as much damage as possible, I had really good games. In fact, I had a game where I did like 21,000 damage. This, in terms of spotting, I did spot 33 vehicles, and it is going to be the most that I did in Homefront. And this is a game that I played in 2019. See, here we go, dropping some artillery shells on them. We're going to see a plane fly in. It looks like I'm going to miss. You do want to do it ideally on a vehicle that's been tracked. Obviously, there are vehicles that will stop. And you also... What a lousy shot that Tiger had. So you do want to coordinate with your team. It does happen. Your team will coordinate with you. They will... someone will track a vehicle and then everyone will drop their artillery on it. And the other technique that I learned, it's very important to save your artillery for the slowest and strongest vehicles. And in order to maximize your use, I used them immediately at the beginning of the game. So that was the second wave. We did survive the second wave. Enemy bombers are coming in, so we got to get outside of the bombing area. You don't want to accidentally drive into a bombing area. You can receive damage outside the bombing area. I have received splash damage before. So do be careful. Picking up the flag means that everyone on the team is going to get more ammunition, and I believe it is APCR. You get a lot more APCR, so you want to maximize capturing as many flags as possible. Okay, so the next wave coming through is going to be a little bit more difficult. The most difficult wave are the Leopard tanks. The Marder 38Ts are going to be a little bit slow. The Panzer 3Ks are going to be well armored, and the Panzer 2s, because they're light tanks, they should be easy to take out. There's a position up on this hill a little bit to the right which I love to use. worked out really good. Right up on the hill on the right is a great hull down position. You can see that the enemy's already made it to the line over here. We had 2 enemy tanks that already made it here. You don't want them to cross these lines. Luckily, I haven't taken any... I'm sorry, I've taken very little damage in the game. There's no running tally of how much damage I've done or how many kills I have. I'll see if I can try and turn it on at the end of the game. This is a really good position right over here. It's a very defensive position. No one's going to get behind me. Okay, so I'm going to be able to spawn in 2 more times. Actually, maybe there'll be... yeah, I guess 2 more. Some people get to spawn in a total of 4 times, and some get to spawn in a total of 3 times. Okay, so here I've respawned in. Just going to check the settings real quick for battle notifications, and we'll turn these on. Okay, so it looks like it doesn't do a running total. It just does the summary. And as you can see, I guess, is this what I'm firing out? Okay, that must be what I'm firing out. Those Panther 2s, you know, those are difficult tanks. They're not going to be easy. What I'm going to probably try and do is get behind them. You don't want to cross the red line that's over here in the distance. I am going to remind you that the next version of Homefront is not going to be defense, it's going to be assault. So with the next version of Homefront, you're going to have to go and enter enemy territory and try to take their positions that they're defending. So I did nail that Panther. Obviously, I'm hoping that he's going to aim away from me because I don't want to take any damage. I do take advantage of the respawns, but, you know, you can have a game where you never respawn. I remember a game, hopefully we'll see it, where my ally did an amazing job on Studzienki, where he was playing a Churchill and he stayed the whole game very close to the enemy because he had a great side-scraping position with a Churchill. So I'm choosing the further tank because it keeps me more in a hull-down position. You see, these Panthers are probably not going to make it. I've only got a few. I don't know how my allies are doing, but they really need me. You can see in the upper corner here that one of them is low on hit points. These green bars are the number of hit points left in the game. And I'm going to get these guys down as much as possible. There are going to be games where at the last moment we save the day, and there's going to be games where no matter how hard we try, we're unable to finish off the enemy. And it's either going to be a tank that's extremely fast, or it's going to be a tank that's extremely well armored that we can't penetrate. Those are the 2 conditions that cause you to lose the game. And it was very difficult. It's not an easy game. I have a game where I did 21,000 damage, and many games were with over 20 kills, and there were some where we still lost the game. Okay, so we've survived 4 out of the 7 attacks. Now I got to get outside of the red circle. And if you're in a slow tank, it is very difficult. And not only that, if the circles overlap, you might be trying to get outside of a circle only to be heading into another circle. So the other thing that I do is I often am sending messages to my allies asking them to pick up the yellow flags, and they usually don't do it. But it's very important because when you do that, you have APCR, and the APCR is necessary for the well-armored tanks. There's 19 minutes left in the game. We're more than halfway through. Okay, so these are going to be well-armored tanks. I'm sure we're going to do fine. Again, I am going to get 7,252 total damage, 10 kills. I'm going to spot 33, and I'm going to get 2,100 spotting damage. And this wasn't a really good game for me. I had games that are way better. This is the game where I spotted the most tanks, because when I was playing this game, I initially played it in order to do spotting damage. But what I realized is that a lot of my allies really weren't very good at the game. So I had to do a lot more damage. I had to kick up, I had to make a much greater contribution. When you play the game, you have to keep an eye on that mini-map, and you have to figure out, are you the one who has to control a flank? If no one on your team is guarding a flank, you gotta put on your big boy pants, and you gotta go after and defend that flank. So it looks like we're all in the southern flank and nobody's in the northern flank. We got a big problem in the northern flank. You can see that the enemy Panzer IVHs are about to cross over that line. And because we don't have the radio coverage, we don't know what's going on. The other thing you're going to notice is that you can shoot at enemy tanks that are outside of your render range. Like if that guy goes outside of my yellow circle, I can still fire at him. So that was one of the cool things about the game. Keep on nailing them, keep that gun firing. We're losing 4 shields, it's not good. That means we got to be on our A game for the remainder of the game. The leopard ones are the ones that really go after your shields really quickly. They were really difficult. Not penetrating, and this is using APCR rounds. We got at least 3 more vehicles left in the game. Trying to get better positioning and capture those flags, constantly working on capturing those flags. So obviously this is going to be a game that I do a lot, I spot a lot of vehicles. I'm going to also show you some games on my channel. Keep an eye out for ones where I do a lot of damage. We're talking 21,000 damage. And where I kill a lot of tanks, we're talking 22, I think, was the most. And spotting damage. I believe the most spotting damage I did was around 8,000 spotting damage. There's got to be another vehicle out there. There he is. So this is a really well-balanced vehicle, which is why I am playing it. The speed is really relevant in a wide open map. You need to be really fast. Okay, so he's out of the game. It was actually an air attack that took that vehicle out. So here you can see I am going in to continue capturing flags. It is important. There were games where I ran out of ammo and I would beg my allies to capture flags and they didn't. So now we got the Lux. The Lux are going to be a little bit more difficult than these other vehicles. Look at all those vehicles we got to go after. So it's very important that we spot them as quickly as possible. My allies are too far in the back and it's really not good. I don't know if they're going to be able to hit these vehicles when they're far away. You can see that the enemy is approaching. They're halfway across the battlefield. These guys could easily take me out. I'm on the path to getting more flags, more ammo. If you stay in the game for a long time, you're gonna need to constantly get more ammo. You know, when you respawn, you're gonna start out, actually when you respawn, you start out with very little ammo. So if you're constantly capturing flags and you stay in the game, you'll always have a lot of ammo. People that spawn in will run out of ammo very quickly. Doing around 50 damage per shot. I'm gonna check what it is. 40 average damage for this vehicle, for this gun. So we got some easy tanks. We are losing one of our shields, which means one of the tanks is crossing over. Now we've got a second tank crossing over. Hopefully we can get this guy out of the game. Wow, look at all those shields. We could easily lose the game. It's going to be really tough. We got to take these guys out. I believe if they cross that red line right there, then you can't do anything anymore. You can't do anything else. So one of the things I could have done was hooked it right and gone up the hill. It looks like I finally realized I could go up that hill, elevate the gun. Went a little bit too far. Those Stug 4s, they don't have turrets, so they can't fire at us while they're trying to cross over that line. We're just going to go at them. What the shields mean is that someone is within the territory. Like I said, they have to cross that final red line right there in order for it really to matter. So if we take them out, that's it. Okay, we've stopped the second to last push. We got one more push to deal with. I'm gonna do whatever I can to get to the other edge of the map. 3 Tiger 3s. The advantage about going up against the Tiger 3s is that they are slow, which means we have a lot more time. However, they do have strong armor. And you notice that they have like red skulls. That means that, I believe what it means is that if one of them makes it all the way across, the game's over. It doesn't use the shield system. So spotting them is very important because people can use their aircraft. We have one player who is Xilinx, who is out of the game. He's not going to respawn. The Valentine, I don't know if he gets another respawn. But you can see that I'm not penetrating these vehicles, and they took me out of the game. So we're going to get in as quickly as possible. I'm in the M8A1, and either this is my final tank, or I have one respawn left. So now I've got 24 regular rounds. I'm receiving damage. Okay, so I hit him for 62 damage. Let's see how much... Let's see if I get a respawn. 0 respawns. That was my final respawn. 11 minutes left in the game. Are these guys going to pull it off? They got to finish off these 2 Tigers. So Phil Vaz, he's got to do it by himself. Took that Tiger out. Got one more Tiger left in the game. It's up to you, Phil. You can do it. And I made a comment, I said good skill, because I was obviously making fun of the fact that he must have ammo racked that tank. Yeah, he ammo racked it for 1,200. Okay, so we got another vehicle. The Wolverine is in the game. And the enemy, if he's over here, he's going to try to cross over in the north. He's not going to go down into the south. The yellow flags are where the ammo, these are ammo, is what they are. So the Wolverine's not in a good position. Hopefully Phil's going to be able to pull off something good here. Phil, what you doing?